Hello, my name's Niranjan, the host of Master of Your Crafts podcast. Learning from leaders who are continuously inspired, passionate, and driven to align with their soul purpose, sharing their gifts to bring healing to others. The music is composed by Rebecca Everett. Today is episode number 146, and I had the pleasure of talking to Hilda, a leadership coach, author, and podcaster who spent over 2 decades empowering senior executives and teams to unlock their peak performance and lasting fulfillment. With 10 international certifications, she's specialized in coaching, masterminds, and mental fitness, helping leaders to drive meaningful change in life and business. Hilda is an author of Power Up, the executive roadmap to transforming life and business, and is known for guiding growth mindset individuals towards long-term transformation. Enjoy this conversation. It was a delight and an honor to speak with Hilda. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Hilda. How are you, Hilda?
So glad to be here. Thank you, Naranjan. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited for us to have this conversation because not only from a space of your executive coaching that you've done for over 10 years, but how
20?
the
Actually, 20.
20, I'm sorry, lost a decade
Uh-huh.
there. But also from a place of your own podcast and straddling both from doing this in English, but also from Spanish. So I'm keen to learn a little bit more about the differences that you've witnessed and experienced in supporting individuals and potentially the cultural challenges. Are they the same for English speakers as they are to Spanish speakers?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm thinking about that because I found that in North America, but also in the South and in Europe, I do have the opportunity to work with different clients and cultures, and the challenges are almost the same. In the top level, they want to balance and to
Mhm.
manage capacity and to know how to don't to get crazy with so much speed and priorities and changes and
Right.
difficulties and to have a lot on the plate and to deal with too many things at the same time.
Mhm.
So I found that the challenges are the same.
Right.
What is quite peculiar is the culture,
Mm.
how we do business
Mhm.
in this country,
Yes.
how we do deal with whatever it comes to us in our company.
Mhm.
So there are so specific differences there. But in general, the challenges we face,
Mhm.
they are like universal in
Ultimately.
all those countries.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting, really.
ultimately they are, but the culture in which we are raised, how we live, the community, excuse me, all those nuances play such a big role on who we are and how we move through the world based on the companies we work for, the people who we connect and break bread with, but also from a standpoint of our own values, our own belief systems, which can also lean into various biases in decision making as well, right?
Yeah, right. And you said something a few moments ago, and I want to go back because it's not only who we are now,
Mhm.
it's who we need to be in the future
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
get myself or my team or my company or the company that I work to, who do I need to become
Right.
in order to deal with so different challenges that will be in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Through your time working with individuals, be it through executive leadership and coaching, but also individuals who are not in that space, because I'm sure you have clients who are not in the C-suite, but I'm going to call them regular people, but so are executives, but individuals who are seeking to better themselves in one stream or another.
Yeah. You don't need to be in the C-suite
Right, exactly.
to question yourself about
Eh,
improvement and who do I want to be in the next step or phase or project or
Exactly.
season in my life.
Exactly. What have you seen as a shift potentially over the years, over the decades, from what was a really big driver for individuals wanting to seek and be more of themselves back then to where they are now? Because 20 years in this industry and the evolution of individual and humanity has grown quite a lot. So, what does that look like from where we are now, from where we were before? What's that shift from your perspective?
Yeah. Maybe the ambition was there
Mm-hmm.
back then and today, but the speed of today's business
Mm-hmm.
is kind of crazy.
Okay.
And we used to do business maybe almost in the same way. But here we add the speed and the technology and AI and a lot of new challenges
Yes.
that we didn't know 20 years ago we are
Right.
going to face. So I
Yes.
remember the name of Marshall Goldsmith's book,
Mm.
that what get you here won't get you there.
Right.
And it's quite an affirmation because
Mm-hmm.
we need to develop new capacities to deal with
Mm-hmm.
what comes next.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In that journey and in that growth that you've witnessed from other people, and you potentially having to evolve and transform yourself so you can serve these individuals, what has that taught you about Hilda? And does that define who Hilda is at this moment of time?
Yeah. I love this question because
Mm-hmm.
I have these moments of reflection of 20
Yeah,
years ago, who was the Hilda
yeah,
that began the coaching journey,
exactly.
preparing herself to support others towards success.
Mm-hmm.
And in those 20 years, I do have 10 international coaching certifications.
Yes,
So this is not a title, it's an inner work.
it is. Yeah.
And I'm the same but not,
Mm-hmm.
because I have the same values and committed
Mm-hmm.
with growing capacities and supporting others.
Yeah.
But I'm so different because I have an inner work. And I was thinking about 20 years ago, but I don't need to go so back, so further. I think about 5 years ago, because 5 years ago in 2020, when pandemic times
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
came, I didn't was a writer,
Right.
and now I'm an author, and I wrote a book in Spanish back
Yes.
then, and now I have a book in English.
Good.
So I do have a career as an author that 5 years ago wasn't possible for me,
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't the opportunity. I didn't take the time.
Right.
I had it in my dreams, but never accomplished. And now I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Mm-hmm.
have them. And I also have a new project to turn my expertise in a digital course.
Right.
So I don't look the same than 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure I'm refining my capabilities
Mm-hmm.
to deal with what's next.
Right.
Or at least I will try to do that,
Yes.
because it puts myself in what everything goes through
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about transformation,
Yes.
in not knowing, don't having necessarily the capabilities, struggling, don't having the answers, frustration, less speed because you don't know all that it needs, uncomfortability.
Yes.
It's better a comfort zone than
Yes.
moving and putting yourself into test. So I'm dealing with everything that my clients and every human being that wants to change deal with.
Mhm. What do you think has been the biggest challenge that you've overcome on this journey of your own self-discovery as you support
Yeah,
others?
I do remember the first one. And the first one is I was a trainer. I used to train people in core skills. And I was so happy with that. But I began to see coaching and I turned into that kind of knowledge and capabilities. And I did my first certification. But it wasn't like I own it at
Hmm.
that time.
Hmm.
And my thoughts, my mindset was I'm a trainer. My
Right.
clients are going to see me as a solution to train people that they don't know
Sure. Sure.
a basic knowledge
Yes.
or they need to improve their skills. So I needed to realize that now I'm prepared to step bigger
Hmm.
and to go for it.
Hmm.
And it was a shock because when you change, you need to own it,
Absolutely.
to put yourself into it in your mind and in your body
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
be ready to go for it. And
Absolutely.
I wasn't ready in my mind and body.
Mm.
So that was my first struggle.
Right.
And in the whole journey, the mindset is, gosh, you need to have the proper mindset to be your ally. If
Right.
not, you will struggle a lot
Absolutely.
because the inner voice is going to torture to say, a book in English, really? You
Hmm.
are a Spanish speaker.
Hmm.
So why in English?
Hmm.
Why a global market? You already do very well in your country.
Hmm.
So there's an inner voice that stops us,
Right.
that prevent us from change. So the whole journey 20 years ago and every time that I want to do something different, I need to deal with my inner judge to stop that voice, to
Okay.
cancel what I'm listening, and
Yeah.
to make a different mindset to thrive and not to stop.
What do you feel are some of the attributes that connect you with this passion that's coming out so vividly for you in coaching and supporting individuals on their journey? What are the attributes that
Hmm.
connect you to that?
Yeah, the first one is I studied an educational career, pedagogy. And I did because I wanted to work with children. And when I realized I can work for a corporation, I forget about children and never work with them. But I have the same commitment
Mhm.
to support others to do
Okay.
better, be bigger, be prepared to challenge themselves. So I'm really committed to support others and to inspire
Nice.
and to be a role model,
Yeah.
um, that shows that maybe it's difficult because change is not easy and there are not shortcuts. And this is not a quick fix.
Mhm.
Transformation takes
Mhm.
place in the time, not
Yeah.
in a moment.
Yeah.
So I'm committed to support others to get where they want to be.
How did you determine that this is a path you want to take? Because you just alluded to an educational training that you did to work with children, and then you've made the switch to executives and C-suite and adults. How did you determine that this is not what I want to do, and this is where I feel I am called to support and empower and guide other people on that process? What was that?
Yeah. The answer is learning.
Mhm.
Learning is no matter if if the child has 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, as an adult, we learn all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was committed with learning. In the first place, to teaching others.
Mm-hmm.
I don't teach anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
support others through the process and the questions and the reflections and the challenges. I support others to learn in a different way, to change their perspective, to open to new things, to have this powerful reflection about who do you want to become,
Mm-hmm.
and what do you imagine about your future self,
Right.
and what do you want to do.
Yes.
And when the impossible comes into the mind,
Mm-hmm.
I try to move the person step by step in tiny movements and actions and practices to allow to understand that that is possible.
Right. Right.
If I
Exactly.
question the Hilda 5 years back, gosh, is not the same that
Mm-hmm.
I am today.
Mm-hmm.
So that was possible. And it
Mm-hmm.
took a lot of time,
Mm-hmm.
but that was possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything is possible. We need to be in a frame set, a mindset and a frame
Yeah.
to be
Mm-hmm.
able to expand, not only think it, but to be able to create some space
Yeah.
so we can receive it. Because our conscious mind and our being of who we are only has so much capacity of how much we can do. We have 24 hours in a day. So there's only so much we can really pack in before it jeopardizing and breaking down who we truly
Mm.
are and how we function. So
Mm-hmm.
there's lots that we can do, but there's lots more editing that needs to happen for us to be able to embody that, right?
Yeah, I listen carefully at your words, and there is something you said that it's really very powerful about the 24 hours. When
Mm-hmm.
my clients think about success, they began like, okay, what else do I need to do? And maybe the game is not what else, is what less you need to do
Exactly.
to be
Exactly.
successful, to
Yeah.
achieve results, to
Yeah.
balance your life, to
Yeah.
accomplish performance and happiness.
Yeah.
So it's not a game of more, it's a
Right.
game of less can be more. So
That's
you
right.
need to remove some activities
Yes.
that they don't add value.
Yes. Yes. And and it may not even be that's not valued, but it's weighing up where can
Mhm,
I
mhm.
be, for me anyways, this is my narrative and what I support individuals on is where can they be of greater service or what experiences can they embrace where it will enrich their lives much greater versus I want to do everything, which is a narrative that we all run. And I think that is dictated to us from the external world. I've been there too. I don't want to do all of this. And I wanted it all done yesterday. So, what do we edit? How do we edit? And how can we determine what is going to be the most enriching for me so I can move forward into another and a more elevated version of self? What was that for you?
I need to choose
Mm,
because I want to do everything
yeah.
and
How
everything together in this moment. And
how
that is so crazy.
how did you edit? What's your
Um,
process of editing?
yeah, I began like, okay, priorities. Okay, all of them are at the top. Okay, but no matter what, which is the most important? Who is aligned with my care and with value and with business and with creating impact, but also revenue. So I question myself until one pops up. And I begin to think I'm not really very much about numbers and figures. I'm not. But I try to think what is the 20% that I need to address in order to get the 80% of results. And I deal a lot with myself. And I will give you a perfect example. I was walking El Camino de Santiago, that is an amazing place in Spain to go to Santiago de Compostela. So I walk 6 days, 130 kilometers. And in day 3, I began like in the morning when I woke up, I feel this kind of anxiety here that I understand very well. And I began, is that real? I mean, you said always that you are so stress-free when you are on vacations. And you are so happy to be here. And you wanted this so badly. So what in the hell is happening to you? Because you are stressed. And the first that came to my mind was like, okay, you need to cover 80 kilometers. It's like the whole thing. And I do that oftenly. So I need to cover 80 kilometers. And when I listen at myself, it was okay, 80 kilometers, what should I do? And I began like, what do I say to my clients when they want everything together, all in this particular moment to achieve a big goal? And I said, you cannot eat the whole bread together. You need to eat slice by slice. So if that's so, what is my slice today? And I said, okay, today I need to cover 23 kilometers. And my first question was, can you? And I said, of course. I walked yesterday 21, I walked the other day 23, so I can cover perfectly. And I slept well, I can do that. And the 80 is at the end of the journey, day 6. It's not today. Can I be in my best shape and mood to deal with that? And I said, yes, of course. So the stress wipes out, and I was so happy to do that. But I tend to want the end of everything all together today.
Right.
And that is so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have tools, mechanisms, or maybe some key attributes that you have put in for yourself so you don't
Yeah.
get to that place of, I got to do 80 kilometers and it's got to happen all now, to coming back to yourself, to the realization of, no, it's small bites. What have you put in place for yourself? So it brings you back to everything's doable, it's all okay, and I've got it all under control, and we're all, it's on the list to get done successfully.
Mhm.
What's that for you?
I need to control 2 of my saboteurs. I
Mhm.
do have a hyperachiever, so
Mhm.
I think about 80 kilometers and not 23.
Yes.
So I put my mind in the results because I'm a hyperachiever. So I need to control my hyperachiever and said, you are going to get there. Okay, step by step, day by day. To recall that. I need to control my perfectionist. Gosh, I want everything all together and perfectly. So I stress out a lot. So I need to say, okay, what is my 20% that is going to be so perfect that I love it? And what is the 80 that is going to be fine? And fine in my high standards are very good. So, okay, focus on my 20, not my 100. So those, if I can stop those saboteurs and control what are the small actions I'm going to take consistently to be there, that helps me oftenly.
Are there some practices you've put in place so you can keep on track and you don't take perhaps 3 steps back and go, oh my gosh, it's 80 kilometers, rather than come forward and move forward in small steps that's more manageable and in control, and that your saboteur doesn't take over? What would those steps be for you? What's
Yeah.
those
Um,
mechanisms or attributes that you have
mhm.
harnessed?
And when I realize I wake up with a little or a lot of anxiety, I begin to breathe. Breathing is central to bring me back and to understand where I am. So if I breathe, I begin like, okay, let's find out how to solve it. What is the step? And how do I want to manage it? But not, I don't want from a place of stress. So that is one decision. And the other one is I want that from a place of flow and from a place of joy. So that's why when I talk about performance, I also talk about happiness or flow or well-being, because I do want results, but also I want to enjoy. And I do want to give everything here, but also breathe and enjoy the journey. So I work a lot to do both in life. I do have a client. I'm going to spend 3 months in Spain for the
Mhm.
next week. And one of my clients said, are you crazy? Really, in Spain? Are you going to put yourself into Zoom every afternoon? And I said, picture it. In the morning, I go for a walk and I see the city and go for a museum and I have lunch with my daughter. And after that, I go remote with my clients. So I have the best of two business, enjoy life and also enjoy work. So I love it. And for me, that is an example of performance and happiness and how you take the best of the worlds that you love
Yeah,
and you mix them into something that is
beautiful.
meaningful to you.
Yeah. What else are you hoping to get out of your time in Spain in terms of what's next for you? Because that's going to be an exciting and interesting time for you, getting an opportunity to spend time with your daughter, but
Sure.
also being in a different environment, being in a different space. And what's next for you at that juncture of your life?
Yeah, I think in the last few months, I'm thinking about future and how to mix income and impact,
Mm-hmm.
how to deliver impact, but also to have a steady income for the future.
Right.
And that allows me to think about digital courses and how to turn expertise into something that you can sell and impact others and get money.
Right.
Because my formula today is I work, I get paid. So it's hour for money,
Mm-hmm.
a number of hours a
That's
day
right. Yeah.
uh, per an amount.
Yes.
So I'm beginning to think, and I enjoy very much coaching others. It's my passion. And I will still keep it because I'm committed with
Mm-hmm.
that and I enjoy to see transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to develop these digital courses and to allow myself to put everything um, to understand my client, my ideal client, and to sell a digital product.
Right.
So my time in Spain is a time of reflection and designing and defining and refining and creating this part of me that is also with my experience of educational career and also my expertise as a coach and my expertise as understand the business and top executive, so mixing everything. And
Right.
Spain is going to be a great opportunity to have those times.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm excited for you to spend a beautiful time in Spain with your daughter, but also this growth and transformation that's ahead of you in how you run your business and what does that evolution process look like? Because I believe it's a natural cycle for any business, just as it is for life, to have these births and deaths that happen that we get the opportunity to embrace and tap into. So Hilda, I'm so grateful for you sharing all your experiences, your expertise, and your wisdom that you've garnered both not only in the English speaking world, but also in the Spanish speaking world too. So thank you for sharing your gifts. Thank you for sharing this conversation. And thank you for taking the time to share with me. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Is delighted. I do have so challenging questions today because they were so different and so smart that I love the conversation,
Beautiful.
Arangel.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Naranjan, and you've been listening to Master of Your Crafts podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review, and join me next week for another episode. Thank you for listening.